listening to Tapped In, Buncombe County's half hour to empower on WRES 100.7 FM in Asheville. Listen up and get tapped into local important resources, information, and topics. Okay, it's time to get tapped in. Hello, and greetings. And if you're all listening to my voice, you know it's time to get tapped in. I'm one of your hosts, Zakia Bell Rogers.
And I'm Leonard Jones.
Leonard and I come to you from the Communications and Public Engagement Department of Buncombe County, better known as CAPE. Leonard, who do we have with us today?
Well, today we have Corinne Duncan, Buncombe County's Election Services Director. She is here to share with us about the upcoming election in 2026. We have a primary coming up. She's going to give us all the information about where to vote, how to vote, and how you participate in the process. So welcome, Corinne.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you. And if you all have been following us, we've had Corinne on before. So it's always a lovely occasion to have you here. And thank you so much. What are some important dates that we need to know about that are coming up right now?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people might be surprised that an election is happening already.
Mm-hmm.
The election this year was moved up a week, and so it's on March 3rd. That's Election Day, but absentee by mail voting is happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that has changed with absentee by mail is that you have to request it by the 17th, so that's a week earlier than usual.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to return that ballot on Election Day. So there's no postmark grace. You've got to get it in by Election Day. So make sure you're on time if you vote by mail. Early voting starts on February 12th, and it goes through the 28th. We're not open on Valentine's Day weekend, so spread the love in other ways. But we are open the next weekend and then that last Saturday, as always. We have a weight map on our website where people can figure out what site is most convenient to them. And we do have 11 sites. So we've got Black Mountain Library, East Asheville Library, Anka Cantler Library, Fairview Library, the Lester Community Center, North Asheville Library, South Buncombe Library, Upper Hominy Fire Station, that's a new one, the Weaverville Community Center, Wesley Grant Southside Center, and the West Asheville Library. So we have lots of early voting sites. And then, of course, Election Day is March 3rd.
And so what are some new changes up to voting this year?
The most significant change is the absentee by mail deadlines. So we just need to make sure that we're being on time for that. Another date that I failed to mention was our registration date, which is coming up. It's on February 6th. And make sure that when you're filling out a registration form, they look like this. You can do it by the on paper, or you can do it through the DMV. On paper, you need to make sure you fill out everything that's in red, and don't forget to sign the form. Make sure you get that into our office.
And also, if you're renewing your licenses online, you get to update your registration or register to vote online while you're doing that. So there are so many ways. So as we always say, excuses, there are none.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And you can always come to our office and you can call us on the phone. There's many, many ways to make sure that you have what you need to vote.
So we know that Helene brought challenges, and we have some updated information about voting places.
That's right. Yes, we continue to navigate those challenges from the hurricane, and some of those are voting location changes. So we have 8 voting location changes. They are, you get a card in the mail if you have a change. So we have 80 voting locations, so it's 8 of them. And that's precinct 4.1, 27.2, 34.1, 41.1, and 35.1. But again, you'll get a card in the mail that tells you where your new voting location is if you're one of those people.
Awesome.
And so we know that 2026 is a midterm election, and we just wonder, what are some of the offices that's running in this primary?
Yes, so primaries are your opportunity to narrow the candidates to the ones that are going to appear on the general ballot. So you're really choosing those candidates who we're going to vote on in November. Some of the candidates that will be on the ballot in Buncombe County are judges, DA, U.S. House and Senate will be on the ballot. There's one county commissioner, District 2, the sheriff, and Asheville City Council.
Okay. And that's interesting. You know, I think a lot of times people just wait to vote in the general election, but not understanding that this midterm is so important because it determines who we're going to see on that. And so I think every election counts.
That's right.
Yes, so that's great. So can you explain the express vote ballot process?
Right. So we started using express votes for early voting in 2024. And those machines are ballot marking devices. So they don't tabulate anything, but they mark the ballot. So you'll go up to the machine, the ballot will pop up on the screen, you make your selections that way, and then the ballot prints out, and then you put that in the tabulator. There's lots of advantages to that machine. You don't make marking errors. So if you accidentally chose something, you normally have to go back to the poll worker and get a new ballot. This way you just change your selection, and then it has a lot of accessibility features, and we have that on election day too. So there's audio, you can change the contrast on the screen and the size, and so there's a lot of uses for it that way too, and it's open to anyone.
And so with the primary election, we know that party affiliation plays an important role. Can you explain that process?
Yeah, so primaries, again, are for narrowing the candidates. For nonpartisan races like the city of Asheville, it is just narrowing those candidates. For partisan races, so that's where party is involved, then we're narrowing the candidates within the party. So if you're a registered Republican, you vote in the primary for the Republicans. If you're a registered Democrat, you vote in that primary. In North Carolina, if you are registered unaffiliated, like I am, then you get to choose. And so when you go to the polls, there'll be several different ballot styles that you can choose from. So for me, I can choose between the D1 ballot style, the R2 ballot style, and then also the unaffiliated. If you choose unaffiliated, that will only be the city of Asheville, because that's the only contest that has unaffiliated candidates in it right now.
And I just want to do a myth buster. So if you don't vote in the primary, it doesn't impact you voting in the general election, right?
That's correct. It's not required to vote in the primary, but as the elections director, I highly encourage it.
Yeah. And so how does the voting registration work? If I am getting ready to turn 18 on March 2nd or March 3rd, can I register to vote in this election?
That is a great question. So we want to make sure that the youth know that they have options. And so the law is that you need to be 18 on the election day for the general election. So if you are 17 now and you'll be 18 before March 3rd, then you can vote in the primary. That can be your first experience voting.
Yeah, so that's take a lovely youth to voting.
Yes.
I think that'd be so awesome. That that'd be a great birthday present. And it may not be for them today. They may not say this is a great birthday present, but I think 30 years from now they'll look back and say, you know what, that was pretty awesome. So and that's a way to get voting our youth involved, is letting them know those things. Can a person with a felony or with felonies vote in an election?
So if you have had a felony and you've completed your sentence, then yes, you can vote. You do need to re-register though.
And then when you say complete, that means no probation, no owing fines to a court, everything is paid off, you're clear, and you don't have to report to anyone.
That's correct.
Great.
So we know over the past few years we've had a lot of discussion around voter ID. So what's the rules around voter ID here in North Carolina?
So in North Carolina, now everyone is required to show photo ID. So that's even absentee by mail. You have to give photo ID for that, early voting and election day. For most people, it's going to be your driver's license, but there's many, many acceptable IDs. Tribal IDs, your passport, things like that. And if you are over 65, you can even use an expired license if you have that.
And so I remember in previous past, is election services still creating IDs to vote?
Yes, so you can come to any office that you're registered at. So in Buncombe County, that is our office, and we can make you a free photo ID.
Nice.
Oh, that's
Yep,
awesome.
it takes about 20 minutes.
So, what types of items do they need to get this ID?
As long as you're registered, so when you register, you go through a verification process. So on that form, you have to provide the last four of your social security number or your driver's license number. We verify your address. Once you've gone through that verification process, then you come in, we verify that it's you, and then we can print the card right there.
And what's the location that residents need to come to
We
get
are
that free
now,
ID?
thank you. We have moved, so we are now at 35 Woodfin Street in Asheville, 28801.
Mm-hmm. And so, if you've been here forever and a day, that is the very, very old health department.
Yes.
Like the 90s through the early 2000s, maybe
80s.
80s. Oh my God, 80s all the way up to the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So if you've been here that long, that is what that building is. So I got a question. We talked about absentee voting. Can you explain that process? Because I think a lot of people think you just check what you want and send it in. Can you please explain that it's more detailed than that?
Yes, so absentee by mail voting are ballots that you receive in the mail, you vote, and you return. In North Carolina, we're a no excuse state. That means that anybody can vote absentee by mail if they would like. But you have to request it. You have to turn in a request form. So that's why we have that deadline, February 17th, to turn in that form. You can do it by paper or you can go through the portal. Once we get that, we verify that everything looks good, that you're registered, you've completed everything on the form, that you're fully registered. Then we send you a ballot, and that ballot comes with an instruction packet and an application on the envelope itself. You need to make sure that you sign it, that you either have 2 witnesses on that ballot or a notary. You can have a notary. And then if you need any assistance filling out that ballot, there's a place for that to be recorded as well. Then you send that in, or you can bring it into our office in person or to an early voting site, but you can't drop it off on election day. Don't wait till election day. Bring it to our office if you have waited till election day. And then it comes to a board meeting, and our board reviews all of those ballots. So that has actually started already. We had a meeting yesterday, and those are open to the public. You can come and view those. The board reviews those ballots. Once they've made sure that everything is satisfied, then it gets accepted, scanned, and will be added to the tallies.
So I know we strongly encourage voters to early vote. That's where you can fix any problems. But we know there are some individuals who like to wait for election day. So what are some resources available to residents if they go to the voting poll on election day and face some challenges? What should they do?
Yes, good question. So there's 3 types of voting because people are different. And so we want to make sure that there's options for everyone. Absentee by mail is pretty obvious that you might have an impediment for getting to the polls. Early voting is just very, very convenient. There's lots of locations. You can go to any of those that you want. On election day, you have to go to your assigned polling location. And so if you go to your polling location, and this would be during early voting too, and you encounter some error that the poll worker can't help you with, that's your number one. Go to the poll worker first. Then you can call our office. We have people all during the voting period here to help with any of those issues. You can also call your party, the political parties, and they can help. We have a good relationship with them. So there's lots of resources for making sure. Yeah, never give up.
And I also got another quick question. So with early voting, can you register at early voting site?
Yes. So during early voting, there's something called same-day registration. You need to bring proof of residence with you. So that's a power bill or something like that. And you can register and vote at the same time during early voting. And you'll still have to go through a verification process for that.
Now, will your driver's license be proof of resident as well? Because you use your ID to vote, and if you're registering, you can just use your driver's license. Maybe they may not have the power bill in their name.
Your car registration,
Okay.
power bills. The car registration is something that
Yes.
we always try to point out because you often have driven to vote. So that's another resource too.
Okay, awesome. So we've heard so much about voter fraud. And so, can we discuss around voter fraud and integrity that has been the point of debate? Everybody's been talking about that. So, what have we done? Let's discuss what we've done as a county to deter any voter fraud.
So the biggest thing that we do is try to let people know that it's actually not that big of a thing.
Mm.
It doesn't happen very often, but we make sure to take those situations seriously. There are investigation units at the state board. So if we find something that looks irregular, we make sure that that gets reported. We do so much auditing all through the voting period. We're auditing. Citizens can report things, and then we have equipment that's certified as well. So there's just a lot of process. I could talk for a whole hour on our security procedures, but the biggest thing I want everyone to know is that there are many, many measures overlapping. There's a board that oversees elections, and it just doesn't happen that often.
And so we know with the voting, it's one of those things where as a community, we can participate in the process. So allowing a little extra layer of transparency. So how can community get involved with the election process beyond just voting?
You can be a poll worker.
Nice.
We always welcome that. And you can do that by contacting your party or our office. And we also have things called the MAT teams, our multi-partisan assistance teams. And those are teams that go to assisted living facilities and help people vote absentee by mail. So that's another way you can get involved. And during presidential elections, we do a sticker contest. So that will be coming up in a few years too.
In a few years. Is there any eligibility requirements to participate in that process?
You do, to be a poll worker, you do need to be registered to vote, live in Buncombe County, and be 18.
Okay.
So how can voters get updated information and stay abreast of the current events around voting?
So the best place is to come to the source, which is us. So you can call us at 828-250-4200. Go to our website, buncombenc.gov/vote. We also have an email, elections@buncombenc.gov, and you can always stop by our office. The State Board of Elections also has a great website, and we have a Facebook page too, social media. Make sure to look for that blue check, though.
Yeah. And I think as a person who has been voting almost 30 years, as we approach our mid-40s, we're going on to our 30th year of voting. Can we talk about just the reasons why we should vote? Why it's important?
Yeah, there are so many reasons why people vote. There are, historical reasons. There is all of the people that fought for our right in so many ways and still continue to do that. The reason that I vote is because I want my voice to be heard, and I want to contribute. I really want to contribute to my community, and make sure that the people who I think will represent us in the best way possible have the best chance of making it to be our leaders.
Leonard, what about you? Why do you vote?
The reason that I vote is very much on historical reasons. I think when I think of my ancestors, I think of the right that they fought to get the right to vote in this country. And also just in the current state of mind, I really think that voting allows us that opportunity, as Corinne said, to let our voices be heard. I think this is how you get to participate in the democracy of this country. And so I strongly encourage everyone, as well as my own children and family members, to get out and participate in it some way, some form, somehow. But because someone's going to win no matter what, but if your voice is not heard, you just kind of blowing in the wind. And so how you let your voice be heard is by casting that vote.
Mhm.
What about you?
Oh, well, I vote because both of my parents were born before the 1965 Voter Acts, voter right, and know the power of voting. As a child, I went voting with my parents all the time in Mississippi, and so all the kids would be outside playing while our parents were voting, and it has just become. And I gotta say, and I love getting a sticker. You know, you give me a sticker, I'll show up. You know, the sticker gets me there. But just like you all said, it's my way to give back to my community.
Mm-hmm.
It's my way to enrich my community and also let it be known what we are looking for as a community.
Yes.
And it's a right. And you know what? Sometimes that's the only exercise I get that year. So I exercise my right to vote.
That's a go. But just as we continue with this conversation, can we just talk? So, if someone's watching the show and they're like, well, how do I register and vote? Can we just wrap around back to registering and vote? What's that process, your eligibility, age requirements?
Yes.
How do you just start that first step?
That's right. So 2 ways to do it: on the paper form and through the DMV. So if you're already a DMV customer, really easy. You can go online and do it. And then if not, you can download the form from our website or come to our office and get that. Again, make sure that you're filling out all the required information that is in red. Don't forget to sign the form. If there are any issues, we will contact you to help you fix those. But make sure to do it on time. And if you vote early, you can also register during same-day registration during early voting.
And age eligibility.
You need to be at least 18 years old, not be currently serving a felony sentence, and you need to live in Buncombe County.
Yes. And when you say current, make sure we define that. Currently 18 by the general election date.
That's correct.
Yes.
Thank
So
you
you can
for
be
that
17 and register as long as you're going to be 18.
That's right.
And so we have people who are 10, 11, 12. They want to get in this too. How can youth participate?
They can go with their parents to vote.
Encourage their parents.
Yes, and encourage their parents. That is absolutely true. I think something that I really treasure about being the elections director is providing that space to vote. And I think that when you walk into the polling location, there's just a really nice positive energy, and I want kids to experience that so that the kind of mist is taken away from the process. That this is all that voting is, and kind of also feel that the inspiration to do it when it's their time.
And so I got another question. I know that as a society, we're much more transient than we used to be in the past. So what do you do if, I just moved? You just realized you moved, you vote all the time. What's that process? If you have moved recently, what do you need to do?
So you use that same form.
Okay.
You just update using that same form. You can do that through the DMV, and you can also update when you vote. So when you go to vote, you can update your address too if you're within the same county.
Within the same county, okay. And where did you go to verify? Can you verify your voter registration?
So there is a web application that I feel like is very underutilized, and it's the voter lookup tool. You put in your name there, and you can find yourself. Click on your name, and it has all kinds of information. So you can verify that you're registered. You can check your address. It tells you all your jurisdictions, and it shows you where to vote during early voting or on election day. So it shows your election day polling location, and it gives you those sample ballots. That's where you get these sample ballots, and they can be really helpful when you are researching candidates or just wanting to know what is on the ballot. You can also take this with you when you vote to make it go faster. You can take it into the polls with you.
So we're getting near the end of our show, but I want to make sure, Corinne, is there anything that we missed that we need our folks to know?
I think that we covered most everything. I am very happy that we talked about all of the different reasons to vote. I think that making sure that we provide inspiration and hope is really important to us now. So please come out, participate, vote with us.
So, Larry, is there anything that you feel like we need to add into this? What are your ending thoughts?
Well, my ending thoughts has always been to encourage everyone in the resident who's eligible to vote to go out and vote. As we mentioned earlier, voting is a right in this country, and that we should all participate in this democracy that we call home. Another key thing is, as Corinne had mentioned today, and we are very glad that she came to share a lot of that information with us as well as the viewers today. You can go to buncombenc.gov/vote to find out all your information you need to find out about voting here in this election.
And remember, we have 11 locations, and those are Black Mountain Library, East Asheville Library, Ika Canada Library, Fairview Library, North Asheville Library, South Buncombe Library, and West Asheville Library. And then we have multiple community centers, which are Leicester Community Center, Weaverville Community Center, and Wesley Grant Southside Center. And Upper Hominy Fire Station. Woo, you can't say that 10 times.
And when do that early voting period start?
It's February the 12th through the 28th. And remember, Valentine's Day weekend, it is not open. They want you to spend that time with your loved ones preparing to vote. Now, but it is open Saturday the 21st, Sunday the 22nd, and the last Saturday the 28th, which makes voting day on March 3rd. And that number is 828-250-4200. And I just want to say to everyone that voting is a right that we are all born with. There have been so many people before us who did not get the opportunity, and this is your chance. You know, often we complain about what's not happening and what's not going right, but this is a chance to let them know, instead of us complaining, we're going to take it to the pen, and we're going to make sure that our voices are heard. And with that being said, we are one Buncombe. It doesn't matter who wins. It matters that we work together to take care of our community and take care of each other, because together we're stronger. And you have been tapped in.
Thank you for listening to Tapped In, Buncombe County's half hour to empower, here on WRES 100.7 FM in Nashville. Stay tuned for more great episodes coming up.